Analyse your FPL season with the most comprehensive artificial intelligence tools only on fantasyfootballfix.com. Compare your statistics against the elite managers in the game using 10 unique tools combined with Opta data. Check fantasyfootballfix.com pre-season now and review your season data using the most powerful artificial intelligence platform. Click the link below or head over to fantasyfootballfix.com/preseason for analysis on your 2018-19 season. What's up guys and welcome to FPL Today. I'm the man in the know, JNO, and welcome to pre-season videos and welcome to the forwards to watch for Fantasy Premier League 2019-2020. Yes, I don't stop making content because I'm a glutton for punishment, but also I just absolutely love making videos, and YouTube's algorithm prefers it if you don't stop making videos for about a month and take some holiday, which is great for us YouTubers. But never mind, as we get straight into this video, and we are looking at the forwards to watch for the Fantasy Premier League 2019-20 season by looking at the players who had a good strong finish towards the end of the 2018-19 season. And we have done some polls on Twitter, so if you do want to get involved on the polls on Twitter as we look at these players to watch who had a good end to the season, please do go and follow me at JNO_FPL where you can get involved. So we start off with the three main forwards that look to me to have the best underlying stats but also the best points return in the Fantasy Premier League for the end of the season, and those players are Ayoze Perez at 6.1 million, Wilson at 6.9 million, and Zaha at 7 million. By the way, if you noticed the new layout around me, do you like it? Let me know in the comments down below. And we start off with Perez, who had an incredible finish to the season. If you did manage to jump on him at the tail end of the season, you'd have got a great return. It seems like the addition of Almiron has really freed him up to play very, very well and get in the right positions to score goals. Now, of course, there is the issue of, is Rondon going to go to Newcastle? Is Ayoze Perez going to stay? Because there has been rumours that he wants to leave. But if he is staying, if the front two stay with the likes of Almiron behind them and Atsu, who had a good end to the season as well, potentially there could be some good points returned by Newcastle forwards at the beginning of next season. At 6.1 million, you would have got in the last 6 game weeks a return of 44 points from Ayoze Perez from 6 goals. Didn't get any assists. Seems to be something that has dropped from his game, as chances created was only 5 chances created and his expected assists was only at 0.6. However, he did have 13 shots on goal and converted 6 of them. That's a goal conversion of 46.2%. And if you're wondering where I'm getting all these stats from, it is from our partner, Fantasy Football Fix. Make sure to go and check them out. Top link in the description. The plus side with the shots is also only one of them, it came from outside the box. And out of those 13 shots, 7 were on target, with 3 of them being big chances. And his goal conversion on big chances is also impressive, scoring 2 of those 3 big chances. And his expected goals was only at 2.6, which means his expected goal difference was at -3.4, which shows a player in form. Potentially that does show a player that's hit a lucky streak, which is something we've got to be careful of. But a score of -3.4 is an incredible return from a striker. So, depending on the price point he gets put at the start of the Fantasy Premier League 2019-20 season, Ayoze Perez could be a player I am looking at and eager to get into my side. Next up, we have Callum Wilson, who got a return of 39 points at 6.9 million. Now, the issue, of course, with Wilson is he was very patchy. You'd either get 12 points from him or you'd get the obligatory 2 or 3. However, he did have a good return if you were patient with him. 3 goals and 3 assists. This is from 16 shots on goal, which is slightly better than Ayoze Perez. Again, only 1 outside. His conversion rate, however, was only at 18.8%, naturally, as he scored half the goals that Ayoze Perez did. He had 7 big chances, but only scored 2 of those 7 big chances. And that shows that potentially he gets a lot of good opportunities, but needs more to maybe get the same amount of points as Ayoze Perez. He had 6 shots on target out of those 16 shots, with an expected goal involvement of 4.9, which means he had an expected goal difference of 1.9. You want that to be in the minus, really, to show a player on form. Chances created was at 4, which shows he did actually create good chances, because 3 of those turned into assists. His expected assists was at 1.3, which again is impressive. You have multiple avenues to points for Callum Wilson, but of course we want our strikers to be scoring goals. And then we move on to Wilfried Zaha at 7 million, 32 points from 2 goals and 2 assists. Oh, how I wish I brought him in at the end of the season for that final game week, because he had a blinder against Bournemouth in a 5-3 game. If I had him, I might have got top 10k. As you can see below me, I didn't get top 10k, but never mind about that. He actually got a good return of 32 points from only 10 shots, which is less than Ayoze Perez and Callum Wilson, with 2 shots from outside the box and 5 of those 10 shots on target, which of course gives him around a 50% accuracy rate. His goal conversion was at 20%, better than Callum Wilson, but not as good as Ayoze Perez. Big chance, he only had 2, which he converted 1 of, which gives him 50% conversion on his big chances. And expected goals was at 1.5, which he actually outdid, getting an expected goal difference of minus 0.5. And his chances created, this is where he outdoes the other 2. 13 chances created in total, expected assists of 1.6, which again means he outperformed his expected assist by minus 0.4. For those of you that got involved in the polls, your favourite budget striker who you felt had the best end to the season was actually Ayoze Perez at 36%. Callum Wilson only getting 30%, being pipped to the post by Wilfried Zaha at 31%. Chris Wood was involved in the polls but was unanimously not voted for, with only 3% voting for him, so we haven't included him in this episode. And one caveat with Wilfried Zaha is we of course have to watch over the transfer window to see what happens with Wilfried Zaha. Potentially he could be moving to another club. Man United is one that is being rumoured at the moment. However, would he go back to the club he necessarily didn't have a great time at previously in his career? And of course there's potential of him moving abroad. A lot more players are looking at places like the Bundesliga. So the issue with all of these strikers is potentially they may not be at their club next season. However, it could also mean they move to a club where better chances are created for them, and all of them have shown that they do have an eye for a goal or an assist. We move on to the next 3 strikers, and again we still have strikers where we don't actually know where their end destination will be and what club they'll be playing for at the beginning of next season. We have Marko Arnautovic at 6.7 million, who we all know wants to move. We have Ashley Barnes at 5.6, who potentially to me seems the most likely to still be at the same club next season. And then of course Batshuayi, who is on loan at Crystal Palace. When that loan finishes, he'll be going back to Chelsea, who could potentially have a transfer ban placed on them for this summer transfer window, which may make them keep more of their players. We start off with Marko Arnautovic at 6.7 million. He managed to get 28 points in the last 6 games of the season, getting 3 goals and 1 assist. He had 15 shots on goal with 8 from outside the box, 6 on target. 4 big chances, 3 of which he scored from, which again is a good big chances conversion rate. And he got expected goals of 2.9, which means he was minus 0.1 on his expected goal difference, which is just above what was expected of him. Goal conversion at 20% with 8 chances created and expected assists of 0.7, which means again he got just above the amount of assists he was expected to get. Now the issue of course with Marko Arnautovic is, to be honest, he's the one that potentially is the most likely not to be in the Premier League next season out of these 3. We know he wants to leave West Ham. I haven't really heard anything about any Premier League club wanting Marko Arnautovic. There was rumours Spurs were interested during the January transfer window, but of course you'd think he wouldn't be the number 1 striker there at that club, and he seems to be the type of player that wants to be the number 1. So Marko Arnautovic may be someone we don't get a chance to have in our sides next season. We then have Ashley Barnes at 5.6 million with 22 points from 3 goals and no assists. He had 11 shots on goal with only 1 from outside the box, 6 of those shots being on target, 3 big chances which he converted 2 of, and expected goal involvement of 1.8, which means he was actually minus 1.2 expected goal difference, which is pretty impressive. His conversion rate was also impressive at 27.3. That's kind of the range you'd hope strikers would be scoring at, with 3 chances created and expected assists of 0.5. Which means he was under the amount of assists that was expected for him. Now Ashley Barnes should still come in at a relatively cheap price, I imagine, next season. He might be bumped up a little bit. It all depends on how Burnley start. Burnley didn't have a good start to this Premier League season, but did finish rather strongly. Ashley Barnes also has the issue of rotation with the likes of Wood. And to be honest, I still see him as most likely to be an enabler unless he shows some really good patches of form or has some good fixtures. Then we have Batshuayi at 6.2 million, who managed to get 21 points from 3 goals, 0 assists. Now, a lot of these points, again, came from that game against Bournemouth on game week 38. He had 7 shots on goal, 1 from outside the box, 4 shots on target, but for 7 shots on goal, he had 3 big chances, which he converted all of them, which is very impressive. Expected goals was at 2.1, which means he had expected goal difference of minus 0.9, which means he scored more than was expected of him. And his conversion rate at 42.9% was very, very impressive indeed. I don't really think that is sustainable in the long term though, and no chances created and no expected assists. Now with Batshuayi, of course, it is a question of where he is playing. He's going to go back to Chelsea. Is Higuain still going to be the number one? I've not been impressed with Higuain, but he has shown slight patches of form, and we know he is a striker with some pedigree. Batshuayi could come in and maybe rotate. I don't really see him suddenly being made the number one at Chelsea, but it's something we can watch. Pre-season may give us a hint of what is to come for Batshuayi. And there's always hope that potentially he does get another loan move or a permanent transfer to a Premier League club where he would be the number one striker. As far as the polls for these three, Batshuayi actually got 46% of the vote on Twitter as a favoured one of these three, with Ashley Barnes getting 29% and Marko Arnautovic at 25%. Again, if you want to get involved with the votes on this, please do check out my Twitter at JNO_FPL, where you can get involved in the polls, which I will do before I release these videos. So guys, that is it for the forwards to watch. I didn't actually include a lot of the more expensive strikers. Of course, some of them did have form. Aubameyang finished the season very strong. Sadio Mane finished the season with 2 goals. Aguero finished the season with a goal as well. However, we got to the point now where we know what to expect from these premium price strikers. I think, of course, naturally Aguero, Aubameyang are going to be under consideration starting next season. But the point of this video was to try and hopefully pick out some players that we could pick straight from the beginning of next season that could carry on their form from the end of this season. And I think Jamie Vardy especially could be one of those. Not that he was including this, because I think I'll just about put him in that premium price bracket for next season. Hopefully he's still around the 9 million mark. It would be a miracle if he was below 9 million, and he'd probably be straight into my side unless the fixtures read absolutely horribly. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode as always. I hope you enjoyed the layout. I hope you've enjoyed the stats from Fantasy Football Fix, our new partner on this channel. If you do want to get involved with the Fantasy Premier League game and this channel for next season, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button if you've enjoyed this video. Midfielders to watch will be coming up next, as well as a deeper dive into how I did in the Fantasy Premier League 2018-2019 season. Hit that notification bell so you know exactly when my videos are going live, and hopefully the kid isn't sleeping in this bedroom anymore, the little one, so we may be going back to live streaming as well, so definitely hit that notification bell. Check out all the links in the description, especially the top one to Fantasy Football Fix. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.